Iran has carried out what observers describe as one of the most intense missile attacks of the current confrontation with Israel, launching a large wave of long-range weapons that targeted several major regions across the country. The scale and intensity of the barrage immediately drew global attention as reports of explosions, fires, and structural damage began circulating from multiple locations. According to statements reported through regional media, Iranian officials described the strike as one of their largest coordinated missile operations in the confrontation so far. They framed the attack as a demonstration of the reach and capability of their missile forces and as a strategic signal following weeks of rising military tensions between Iran and Israel. Monitoring groups tracking missile activity and air defense alerts indicated that several of Israel's most significant population centers and strategic areas were included in the strike pattern. Locations frequently mentioned in early reports included Jerusalem, Tel Aviv, Haifa, and parts of the Negev region in southern Israel. Each of these areas holds major importance within Israel's national infrastructure. Jerusalem functions as the country's political and administrative center. Tel Aviv serves as the primary economic hub and one of the most densely populated urban environments in the country. Haifa contains critical port facilities and industrial zones along the Mediterranean coast, while the Negev region hosts several military bases, research installations, and important transportation routes. Targeting multiple regions at once appears to have been designed to stretch defensive systems and emergency response resources across a wide geographic area. Coordinated attacks that approach from several directions at once can create a highly complex situation for defensive networks attempting to intercept incoming threats. As radar systems detected the incoming missiles, early warning systems across Israel were activated. Air raid sirens sounded across numerous cities, prompting residents to move quickly toward shelters and protected areas. The country's layered air defense architecture was immediately mobilized in response. Israel's defensive network includes multiple systems designed to intercept different types of threats, ranging from short-range rockets to long-range ballistic missiles. These systems operate together in a layered structure intended to detect, track, and intercept incoming projectiles before they reach populated areas. However, analysts monitoring the barrage noted that the scale and speed of the incoming missiles created an extremely challenging situation. When large numbers of projectiles approach simultaneously and at different speeds or trajectories, interception systems must rapidly calculate responses and allocate defensive resources. Iranian officials later claimed that the attack involved several advanced missile systems within their arsenal. Among the weapons reportedly mentioned were the Fatah hypersonic missile, the Kibar-Shikan ballistic missile, and the Sejal long-range ballistic missile. Each of these weapons represents a different class of missile technology designed for long-distance strikes. The Fatah hypersonic missile has been described by Iranian sources as capable of traveling at extremely high speeds while maneuvering during the final phase of its flight. This maneuverability can make interception more difficult because defensive systems must predict the missile's trajectory in order to deploy interceptors effectively. Hypersonic weapons travel at speeds several times faster than sound, reducing the reaction window available to air defense networks. Another system referenced in reports was the Kibar-Shikan ballistic missile. This weapon is described as a precision strike system designed to deliver large payloads over considerable distances. Iranian officials have previously presented it as part of their effort to improve accuracy and reach in long-range strike capabilities. The third system mentioned in Iranian statements was the Sejal long-range ballistic missile. This missile uses solid fuel propulsion, allowing it to be launched more quickly than older liquid fuel systems. Solid fuel technology also means missiles can be prepared and fired more rapidly, making them potentially harder to detect before launch. Iranian officials suggested that using a combination of these missile types increased the complexity of the attack. Different missiles travel at varying speeds and follow different flight profiles, forcing defensive systems to respond to multiple types of threats simultaneously. As the barrage unfolded, Israel's defensive network launched interceptors toward incoming missiles. Observers reported bright flashes in the sky as defensive systems attempted to destroy projectiles before impact. Despite these interception attempts, analysts monitoring the attack reported that not all missiles were neutralized. Some projectiles continued through the defensive network and struck their intended areas. Reports from Tel Aviv indicated that several impacts led to fires in parts of the city. Emergency crews were deployed quickly to extinguish flames and secure damaged areas. Debris from affected buildings was reportedly scattered across nearby streets while rescue teams searched structures for potential casualties. Because Tel Aviv is a densely populated urban center, even limited missile impacts can cause significant disruption to infrastructure and civilian activity. In Haifa, reports described explosions near industrial zones and areas connected to port facilities. Thick smoke was seen rising from sections of the city following the impacts. Haifa's port infrastructure plays a central role in Israel's maritime trade and industrial supply chains, making it an important strategic location. Reports from the Jerusalem region also described explosions following interception attempts. Emergency services were mobilized rapidly as authorities began evaluating the situation in the capital area. The targeting of Jerusalem carries significant political and symbolic implications due to the city's central role in the country's national identity. Meanwhile, impacts reported in the Negev region appeared to occur near areas associated with military infrastructure and research facilities. The desert region contains several key bases connected to Israel's defense sector, making it strategically significant. Emergency response teams, firefighters, and security forces were deployed across affected areas following the barrage. Authorities worked to contain fires, secure damaged buildings, and assess structural risks in impacted neighborhoods. Reports indicated that some buildings suffered substantial structural damage. In certain areas, walls collapsed, windows shattered, and sections of infrastructure were severely affected by the blasts. Images circulating through monitoring networks showed debris scattered across streets and visible damage to surrounding structures. Beyond the immediate destruction, the attack has prompted analysts to examine the evolving capabilities of missile technology in modern warfare. Weapons such as hypersonic missiles represent a new generation of systems designed specifically to challenge existing air defense networks. Their speed and maneuverability significantly reduce the time available for interception. Meanwhile, long-range ballistic missiles capable of carrying heavier payloads increase the destructive potential of attacks that penetrate defensive systems. Iran has long emphasized its missile program as a key component of its national defense strategy. Over the past decades, the country has invested heavily in developing missile systems capable of striking distant targets and potentially penetrating advanced defensive networks. According to Iranian statements, the barrage was intended to demonstrate the operational reach and readiness of their missile forces. The attack also highlights the increasing role of missile warfare in modern conflicts. Rather than relying solely on aircraft or ground forces, nations now use long-range missile systems to project power across large distances. These weapons allow strikes to be carried out rapidly and can deliver significant impact within a short time frame. For Israel, the barrage represents one of the most intense missile attacks the country has faced in recent years. Historically, Israel's air defense systems have intercepted a large percentage of incoming rockets and missiles. However, large coordinated barrages can place immense pressure on interception networks. Defensive systems must track multiple objects approaching simultaneously and determine which threats require interception. When dozens of missiles approach from different directions at varying speeds, the complexity of the situation increases dramatically. Some analysts believe the barrage may have been designed specifically to test or overwhelm defensive capacity through volume and diversity of missile types. Beyond the immediate military impact, the attack has raised concerns about further escalation between Iran and Israel. The two countries have been engaged in a long-running confrontation involving covert operations, cyber activities, and limited military strikes. Large-scale missile exchanges represent a significant escalation compared to the indirect confrontations that have characterized much of the conflict in previous years. Governments and international observers are now watching developments closely. Diplomatic channels may play an important role in attempts to prevent further escalation in the region. At the same time, military analysts are studying technical data from the barrage. Information collected from radar tracking, interception attempts, and damage assessments may provide insight into the evolving dynamics of missile warfare. The events reported across Jerusalem, Tel Aviv, Haifa, and the Negev region illustrate how coordinated missile strikes can affect multiple layers of national infrastructure simultaneously. Urban centers, industrial facilities, transportation networks, and military installations can all become targets during such operations. Emergency services and authorities continue to evaluate the damage while maintaining high levels of alert across the country. As investigations progress and additional information emerges, a clearer picture will develop regarding the full scale of the attack and its broader implications. What is already evident is that the missile barrage represents a major escalation in the confrontation and highlights the growing power of advanced missile technologies. As both sides assess the consequences of this intense exchange, the international community continues to watch closely, aware that developments in this region carry significant implications for global security and geopolitical stability.